What about it, YouTube? Okay, E. Michael Jones was on PWR, Patriotic Weekly Review. Okay, and these guys are what I'm sure they would describe themselves as white nationalists to the core, right? Probably wouldn't even be too offended if you called them a white supremacist, okay? And if you listen to these guys talk, it's really interesting to me because just because they look in the mirror and they see white skin, then suddenly they themselves are being jilted in the historical scheme of things as they channel every positive invention, creation, every step forward in civilization, everything that ever happened that was any good in philosophy and understanding and science, in raising the standard of living, that can all be attributed to some white guy. And because they look in the mirror and see their skin is white, then now that channeling of this fantasy somehow again gives them this deserved credit that is just not being recognized, and that E. Michael Jones should recognize, and that everyone should be recognizing. I'm sure like Dingo Southern would be all into this too. Like, yeah, I'm white. Everybody recognize, and all you guys, all you dark-skinned darkies, you guys get to go to the 3-state area, and you can't have sex with our white kids. Okay, I mean, I'm sure he'd be into this. Okay, it's just this really odd thing where you channel this this position from some historical memory, some historical fantasy that you claim to be real, and it's all about white. And I watched E. Michael Jones suffer with it. He does a great job by debating with them in a way by saying, I agree with you, I agree with you, I agree with you. Because it kind of softens the debate to a large degree when you do that. I'll often reply, my first word in a comment reply to somebody who's arguing with me will be correct. Even though after I say correct, I go about explaining how they're incorrect. But it softens the debate. Anyway, he did a good job. And I just would say, when I'm watching it, I would just be like, and this isn't the greatest analogy, but, you've got different types of dogs, right? You've got greyhounds, and you've got chihuahuas, and you've got terriers, and you've got blue ticks, okay? And you don't take your greyhound to go coon hunting, raccoon hunting, okay? You don't take your chihuahua to the dog racetrack, okay? There's things that different what's the biological term? Different categories within the family, right? So you've got a Labrador or a Terrier, whatever, right? Okay, so you've got people of different regions who can be stereotyped in a certain way, right? So, and nowadays it's totally incorrect, politically incorrect to assume or to label or to categorize, unless you're just looking at a white guy saying, oh, there's an evil white guy. There's an evil Christian, most likely, right? So we'll just throw that in there. But as far as this I'm white goes, you're playing into the whole bull crap. I mean, I listened to black guys who were saying that they were the true Jews and that they built everything and taught Whitey how to stand up and quit crawling on his hands and knees in the caves. and that then Whitey stole all of their, you know, technology and civilization and left them with nothing, and we was kings. Okay, it's just as ridiculous if you're the white guy doing it. It's just as ridiculous, and I don't have a problem with categorizing and saying, hey, that guy over there's, you know, tight with his money. He acts like a Jew, you know, or that guy over there is great at basketball, you know. He's like an African, you know, or whatever. I mean, I'm trying to come up with stuff off the top of my head, but to associate certain characteristics, like if you say, oh, that greyhound is a great running dog, or, you know, I mean, that's what I'm trying to make my comparison here to. The greyhound doesn't see himself as superior to the Chihuahua necessarily, or shouldn't. There shouldn't be boasting, and shouldn't be prideful, and so that kind of helps me segue into what everybody should be worried about, okay? And real quick, there's a guy named Asha Logos, and I watched a video of his. My brother wanted me to check him out, and he's talking about Troy and Hellenic history and how they're changing the history, they're deleting the history. They don't want you to know of your ancestry. They don't want you to know. But there again, you know, the achievements of some Greek people who that may have been now, you know, as this guy says, just it's a story repeated by, you know, by another story, and the truth is being lost and hidden. I mean, I'm not saying that's good. That's not good. You know, it'd be nice to have an accurate historical record, but I don't consider myself Greek. I don't, you know, just because my historical imagination of a Greek guy is white, his accomplishments, their accomplishments don't reflect upon me necessarily. And I mean, and if they do, then all of their sins reflect upon me in the same weight. So it's nothing to brag upon. I mean, it'd be nice to know the correct history, to be able to understand the historical, cultural, philosophical, you know, the family interactions, the political interactions. It's great to know that stuff just for historical perspective. Just to, I mean, just, you know, factual historical stories are interesting, so that's great. But let's ease up on the channeling and ease up on the butthurt that someone's taking away your identity and taking away your identity should be in Jesus, man, and that's what Jesus. So I mean, you know, the sins of the father, and all that, you know, when you come to Jesus and you turn from your sin, you're turning from that historical sin as well. And you're moving forward in this life knowing that you'll be protected and that the Lord will provide for you as you are blessed as you walk in Him. So the world becomes totally different. It doesn't become some, you know, oh, hey, we invented the wheel and you suck. And, yeah, how about, you know, all of written philosophy, yeah, booyah. Or, you know, it's just, it's silly. If you're Christian, then you love the guy whose history goes back into Africa, the guy whose history goes back into Japan, the guys whose history, okay, doesn't mean you have to go, you know, get involved intimately with them to prove your love for them, right? You can just appreciate them from afar. Dingo, you know, nobody's forcing you to have to like hang out with them. And all you idiot friends of dingoes that live in the ghetto or near the ghetto and complain about crime, get out of there, man. I mean, anyway, you don't have to be near anything or just Jesus, okay? Get close to Jesus. Get that peace and that love in your heart. Lose your pride. Who cares about who did what when in history and who's not recognizing? Because again, I can imagine, you know, you patriotic white, or what is it, weekly report, patriotic white report. I mean, you guys get with the We Was Kangs and have it out. That would be just hilarious. You know, no, we invented the wheel. No, we taught you how to stand up in a cave, Whitey. I mean, and where's the love? And where's the connection? And where's the coming together? And where's the moving forward? Or do we just have a race to the bottom, arguing over whose fantasy and channeling of some historical nonsense wins the debate? It's dumb. It's dumb. Okay? So, you know, back to the E. Michael Jones, and I mean, he did a great job. I always love how he handles things. But when I listen to it, I'm like, you know, should your Boston Terrier march around all proud because, you know, he's not I don't know, a bulldog? I don't know. Should there be like this competition, you know? And if the bulldog and the terrier decide to, you know, have a puppy, does everybody need to worry about it, Dingo Southern? You know, have you not noticed that that produces great? I mean, I've got a lab pit mix. It's the best dog I've ever had. I mean, have you not noticed that these children? I mean, I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying that Halle Berry. I mean, pretty much, you know, what you see is a lightening of the skin too, Dingo, and all you guys that are so worried about your whiteness. So intermixing with white, what people should be worried about is that the blacks will be disappeared. That's what they should be worried about, because don't you notice how it just gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter? My brother's married to a Brazilian. Their kids have the whitest skin. They didn't take any of her, you know, olive, you know, skin genes or whatever. I mean, it just, everything goes whiter, guys. So Dingo, if you want to whiten the world, then you should be telling your white guys to go have sex with black chicks like crazy. And you'll whiten the world, Dingo. But you're backwards and you're hateful. And you guys that march around with your pride and want to argue with E. Michael Jones like, yeah, but I'm white. And could you expect, like, you won't admit that Catholicism took off in white land because whites were the best. And so that's why the best religious philosophy would win over, is because they were the best already. I mean, come on, E. Michael Jones. What, you know, the doctrine can't enforce itself, so it was people. And who was it? It was white people. It had to be whites. It had to be whites. I mean, this goes back to the debate that Jesus had with the proud chosen that now runs this whole thing. Don't you see how you're Jew LARPing, all you white nationalists? Okay? The Jews said, no, it's us. It's our generations. It's us. It's our DNA, man. And you know, you're supposed to be here for us, and you're supposed to be backing us up and wiping out our enemies. And Jesus is like, no, man. You don't get it. It's for everybody. It's for everybody. God loves everybody, and everybody has a chance at his kingdom if they will hear me and they will follow me. And I'm here to fulfill the law, not to replace it, but I'm here to fulfill the law. So this is the same battle. It's the same argument. So if you're going to be Christian and you're going to be up to date and you're going to be saved and you're not going to be, you know, wandering around in pride and hatred for other human beings and in some kind of, you know, nonsense channeling and LARPing around like a Jew and channeling this ancient mystical crap that you're so good because some white guy did something and that means you're great. It's such nonsense. How about you individually? What did you do? What did you do to avoid sin today? What did you do to honor God today? It's you and your relationship with God and with Jesus. Okay? That's what it is. All right? That's where I saw, you know, this tension that couldn't come to terms with these Jew LARPing white nationalists E. Michael Jones is because they don't realize that all of that stuff is pride, and that's not allowed in heaven. All right. Have a good one, guys.